Okay, so that little booklet that you have will tell you a little bit about that. But it wasn't my decision. I remember my brother, when I was in seventh grade or so, writing about the idea that he had of bringing me to America. And I thought that he was just trying to push me to do better in school. I was doing pretty well in school, so it wasn't really a major enticement. But it turned out to be serious a bit later when he sent the Form I-90, where a family had said that we would take care of him, and this is the Shannon family that you couldn't read about. And it seemed really rather serious, so rather than going to school, we started that summer working toward getting passport and visa, which was a very long and complicated thing. And my brother, Asher, closed his Kharrazi store for almost 2 months to take me to Tehran so I could get a passport and visa to come to America. And I never forget that. I never forgot that. And I was there for him when he came to America.
Wow.
Yeah. So the passport was fairly easy, but the visa was very difficult. And we would go there, stand in line all day, and it would never get to be our line. And so after a few days of going like that, we went up to the front desk and we said, how do we get to have an appointment or to be able to be called? And he said, here's the name of a person that can help guide you about how to get a visa. We'll contact that person. He took some money from us and he said, all you do is you put Satuman or something like that inside the passport and you give it to them when you go in the morning, and they'll take care of you. And they did, that's the way things used to be done. But had we known that earlier, we'd have needed to be much shorter period of time. And I remember then I met the U.S. ambassador to Iran as a final thing when I was going to go, but they wanted to see my parents. And they wanted to ask my parents, how is it you're sending a child there? And I remember my parents saying that he's just going temporarily, he's going to go to get an education, and he'll come back. And that's exactly what I felt. So I didn't really feel that I'd been abandoned or anything like that. I just felt that I had been given a tremendous opportunity to go to the land of milk and honey, essentially, that we knew at that time. And the only time that I decided that I'm not going to go back to Iran was when I was 18. My niece, who is a psychologist, says that really sending a child of 14 out of the country is child abuse. Okay? And I said, I want you to know that I didn't feel that because I was just going for an education coming back. I'm age 18, she says, I said, age 18, I came back, and at that point, I chose that I was not going to come back. But I really never felt any sense of abandonment from the family, even though in those days, my parents didn't have a phone, so I couldn't call them. It was always letters. Later on, those tapes became available, and those tapes helped my family come to America because I would fill it up with all kinds of information and saying along the way, these are the things I noticed you should really think about selling your stuff and coming, which they all did.
When you came to the U.S., and I'll read in the booklet, I'm sure, but what was your impression? What were some of your first impressions? And what was the family like that you lived with?
Right. Well, first of all, I was surprised that the homes didn't have walls around them. And that during the whole time that I was going to junior high school and high school, I didn't have a key to the house. Nobody had a key to the house. It was never locked. Okay? And I remember also in Minneapolis, very, very cold and snowy because when I got there, it was October 23rd, so the weather was beginning to change. And I thought that's what America's like. But it's okay. I said, all these people are managing. I will too. So that family bought me some coats and gloves and hats and stuff like that, and I was able to go to school with other kids who lived right in the neighborhood. It was a walking school. And I remember meeting the principal, who was a very tall lady in 9th grade. I was kind of unusual. It was unusual for me, a woman principal.